My name is Eva Marino. I'm a student of EDM 310 at the University of South Alabama. Today I'm interviewing who I think is the best math teacher I've ever met, Mr. Kent Patrick.
Good morning.
So, Mr. Patrick, how long have you been teaching?
17 years.
17 years. And you have a master's from Southern Miss in mathematics?
Yes, I do. I have a master's in education.
In education.
I have a BS in mathematics and applied mathematics, and half of a master's in mathematics and a master's in education. Yes.
That's awesome. Okay, what teaching style do you prefer to use in your classroom?
I use mostly a conventional old-style chalkboard delivery type thing. The technology is a wonderful thing, but I'm not comfortable enough with it, and it's not as flexible as being able to just go to a dry erase board, write what I want the kids to have, and then explain it and discuss it from there. Pretty much just conventional. Yeah.
Okay, so what technologies do you use in your classroom?
Well, obviously, I teach upper-level mathematics. I teach Algebra 2 trig and pre-calculus. So obviously, we use calculators a lot. We don't allow calculators until later in the course because the kids have to learn their basic mathematical processes before they can use a tool. Calculator is only a tool. So we use a lot of TI-84. And we use a smart board to instruct in the TI-84, how to get to our probability functions, our matrix operation functions, things like that. So obviously a computer too, for grading and such. But
okay. So do the students use computers as well?
The students don't use computers. The students use calculators. We don't have the resources to make computers available for them, so we don't do a lot of graphics. Most of the graphing is hand sketching or sketching on a TI-84.
Okay. Okay, so how do your students' grades vary from before the technology peak to now? Like, have they gone? Would you say on average that they've gone up or they've gone down because of the distraction? Is it a distraction? Is it?
Okay, there are some good things and some bad things as far as upgrades in technology go. Distractions, the kids having phones and having unlimited access to the internet and social media and things like this, entertainment, is a distraction for kids. I don't have a problem with it in my classroom because I don't allow it, but you do see it, and it's horrific. I have not seen a significant increase in the abilities of kids coming to me prior to the since the technology boom, since our technology has become so much more accessible. I haven't seen a lot of performance upgrade in the kids over what they did before. Some of the other teachers do use a lot of technology, and I'm just not seeing a significant change in their skills. In very basic mathematics and the basic things that we use at the start of our courses, I'm actually seeing a downgrade in skills. They're depending too heavily on the technology. Mm-hmm. So when they come in and they have to use these things that they were supposed to have learned, that the computer or the calculator has been doing for mm-hmm. them for years and years and years, they don't. They can do monkey see, monkey do, but they don't understand what they're doing. Mm-hmm. Before I let kids use a TI-84 to solve a system of equations, I make them solve them by hand using Gauss-Jordan elementary row operations, mm-hmm. things like this. You've done this before, so you know what I'm talking about. And once they understand that, then they can use a calculator for it to find area of a non-right triangle, to find distances. By setting up non-right triangles, they have to use the law of cosines. Mm-hmm. Just plugging it in the calculator doesn't give them the understanding or the flexibility to be able to go to calculus and interpolate. They can't interpolate at all. They can strictly, if you're given this information and this information and this information, and you plug it in a calculator, they can do it, but they don't have the thinking ability. So at a lower level, I've seen some problems with technology coming up. Now, at higher level students, technology is a wonderful thing. Once they get a good baseline, technology is a wonderful thing, and the graphics on the computers and the things they can do with graphs, it's just amazing. It's just amazing. So the technology is great at a higher level. It's more of a hindrance at a lower level.
Mm-hmm. And also, through all of my math classes so far that I've taken, I haven't been able to use a calculator at all.
Bless your
In
heart.
differential equations, I wasn't allowed to. Number theory, I did. But linear, he preferred us not to use
Right.
one. And
And the row operations are a little slower than a calculator, but they're not that much slower. The only problem with that is there's always an element of error when you're doing row operations yourself, and the calculator does not make an error if you know what you're doing and you understand what you're supposed to put in and you understand your inputs and what your expected answers are. So they're not letting you use the calculator in the math classes in college, again, because they want you to understand the math. Now, when you have a job, I'm trained as an applied mathematician. I was trained to work with engineers and do things like that. Nobody was ever going to come to me and say, I have 85 engineers down. We have a problem with our program. The mathematical program won't run. I need you to fix it, and don't use a calculator. Nobody's ever going to tell you that. Tools are great, but you do have to understand how to use a tool. Giving somebody technology and saying, here, go teach yourself, go learn how to do this. This is fun. Is like giving somebody a hammer and a box of nails and a bunch of studs and saying, go frame a house. You need to know how to do it. You really need to know what you're doing.
okay.
Okay?
Well, once again, this is Kent Patrick, teacher at Alma Bryant High School. Thank you.
You're very welcome.